Welcome to GC Cars. My name is Eric, and today we got the 2021 Mercedes-Benz GLB 250. Just 2 weeks ago, we've had the GLA 250, the complete entry-level SUV for the Mercedes-Benz brand, and I really liked it. Now we have the GLB, which obviously sits higher than the GLA. It's the same platform, but it's just like, it's not even an inch smaller than the GLC, but its gimmick is that it can have an optional third row, which we got equipped in here, which the GLC and the GLA can not. But as per usual, you know me, let's start off with the acceleration run. We got a 2-liter inline-4 turbocharged engine producing 221 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque, just like in the GLA. It's the same engine, same transmission, pretty much a lot of same, I guess. But we want to take it for a little run. Turn right here. Okay. Let's put her into sport. This time I know that it's up. I learned. Already the downshift, obviously. Now let's get me out of that menu, please. I want to turn off ESP. Still have to go through the infotainment because this is not an AMG. Okay. I'll let it shift by itself. Brake torque it. 2200 roughly. 60, 70, 80, 80, still 80. All right, and just like the, let's shift up manually, just like the GLA. Honestly, this is plenty of power. You won't need any more power. Officially 0 to 100 kilometers, this was all kilometers. 0 to 100 kilometers, which is like 62 miles an hour, is 6.9. Car and Driver got it to 60 miles an hour in roughly 6 seconds, but that's probably without the 1-foot rollout, so that's why there's such a difference in the numbers. But 6 seconds, even 6.5 seconds, plenty of power. You won't need any more when daily driving a 3-row SUV. Honestly, talking about the engine itself, just like in the GLA, honestly it feels much more torquey than it actually is. 258 pound-feet officially. Let's downshift. It is so torquey, especially if you're on an on-ramp. You don't even have to have it in sport mode. It just goes if you're in the rev range, if you got the turbo spooled up, which is yeah, really refreshing. Honestly, it's so nice how quick these accelerate. And yeah, there's AMGs, and they're probably gonna they're gonna be real quick then, but even base model 250, plenty of power. But let's take a quick look at the very distinct exterior of this GLB. Then we take a look at the details, and then we come back to talk a little bit more about handling and ride quality. Okay, exterior impressions of the 2021 GLB. First of all, please excuse the location, but my usual position is taken up by a film studio right now, so nothing I can do about that. Anyhow, GLB, I like my SUVs to be boxy, so this is really right up my alley. And I really like the white and black combo we have on here. Whenever I spec Mercedes on their website, it's always like white and black. I don't know, that's kind of like my Mercedes color scheme that I have in my head. So this fits perfectly. And in general, I think it looks pretty good. Like I said, I prefer SUVs to be boxy. This is nice and boxy. It's kind of a bit like the G-Wagon. Of course, the G-Wagon is like super hard edges and all that, but this isn't as like smooth as the other Mercedes SUVs, if you know what I mean. And yeah, I think in general it looks really good. I like the front, I like the side, I like the rear. In general, I like it. I think it looks good. I prefer it over the GLA. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say about the exterior. So let's just take a look at the details. Guten Nachmittag. Today we take a look at the details of the 2021 Mercedes-Benz GLB 250 4Matic. Another German car. How wonderful. Let's get started. Now, if the gauge cluster in other automobiles does not satisfy either your informational or your visual needs, you will be delighted to hear that the 2021 Mercedes GLB has...
How may I help you?
No, please do not help me. I do not require assistance at the moment.
What can I do for you?
Nothing. Thank you. Anyhow, the gauge cluster has over 3000 different combinations that you can create. Super. Alright, I'm back. We are from the Germans. Still with the German, but at least the accent isn't faked anymore. I wanted to talk about handling. Let's downshift her. And go in this corner. Let's clear it first. All right. A little bit of understeer started coming in there, just like in the GLA. It's the same platform. Most of the things are going to be the same. But what also is the same, like in the GLA, is that these, like, Mercedes has a way, apparently, of being really good with setting up suspensions, because both the GLA and this GLB, which is even more surprising because it's a 3-row SUV, despite even if it's a smaller one, they're just so settled through corners, and they feel planted. Of course, it's not an AMG, it's not a sports car, but like in terms of SUVs, nothing has felt as sporty so far that I've had on this channel than the GLA and the GLB. It's kind of amazing how well they're set up. So really got to give Mercedes props there that these handle great. And if you want to have fun, there's a bit of a like slight hot hatch vibe honestly here, maybe like lukewarm hot hatch, but it's just you can have fun in those. You can have fun in these SUVs. You know, if you don't have the kids in the back, maybe you can go to the twisties. But it's just amazing. Let me just U-turn here real quick. We also have a very nice and small turning radius. Doesn't help me if the road is tiny though. But no, the turning radius actually is legitimately very small and makes it easy to turn around, which is very nice. Okay, you know what, let's shift up here and up. Okay, you know what, we can actually go into comfort mode because I don't need it sporty anymore. And while we're doing that, why don't we also change our gauges to something a little more relaxing, right? Let's take progressive. Beautiful. So I wanted to, we can get out of this mode. Shoot. I wanted to talk about suspension a little more because I criticized in the GLA, I criticized that it was still pretty bumpy, and like the suspension wasn't like terrible, but it wasn't what I expected from a Mercedes, right? And interestingly enough, like in general, what I complained about in the GLA was noisy and the ride quality. Those were like my two major complaints. It's fixed in this one, but at the same time, what I really liked about the GLA was how smooth it was to drive, and the start-stop and all that was great. Now it's bad in this one. I didn't know what happened, but it totally flipped. So this one, ride quality is really good. It's really comfortable. I like it a lot. Also, it's nice and quiet in here, just like you expect from a Mercedes-Benz. But then you have the start-stop, which is really jerky in this one. I don't know, it just does not feel nearly as refined as it did in the GLA. And it just kind of, it shakes your lower back a little, and it's kind of uncomfortable. You get used to it, but it's noticeable. And the calibration of the pedals, especially the brake pedal, is a lot worse in this one. It's much harder to drive this one smoothly compared to the GLA. Especially the brake pedal is more of an on and off button in here compared to like the very smooth brake pedal that you had in the GLA. So often you find yourself kind of like jerking to an end, and it's not really that pleasant. Not a game breaker at all. I just found it very interesting that the GLA and the GLB are completely reversed in what I like and what I dislike, despite being the same platform and the same engine. The difference is, I don't know if it has to do with that, or there's different engineering and setup in this. The GLA is built in Germany, this GLB is built in Mexico. Funnily enough, I feel like the one in Mexico, built in Mexico, kind of better quality. But when we talk about quality and what we expect from Mercedes, what do we expect from a Mercedes-Benz? A great interior. So let's take a look at the interior of this GLB. Okay, let's talk about the interior of the GLB 250. First of all, heated seats. The interior is pretty much the same as it was in the GLA 250 we just had 2 weeks ago, I think. So I won't be going too in depth. If you want to hear all my thoughts, well, like more detailed thoughts about what I think about the interior, just check out that video, top right hand corner. Other than that, we have different materials here than we had in the GLA. So first of all, we have a mix out of, it's not actual leather and it's not actual suede leather, but it feels like suede leather. These are like artificial leathers, and I'll be honest, it totally fooled me until I read up on it. I didn't know it wasn't real leather. There's pros and cons to it being real leather or not, right? But so most of this leather, the steering wheel is actual leather. This all is like Mercedes Artico and Dynamic. They have like fancy names for that. I didn't, no, stop. Now you listen to me. Really? When I drive, you don't want to talk to me, but now you do. Anyhow, so we have like this suede leather-like, and we got red accents. It still looks pretty good. Combined with carbon fiber accents, Personally, not a big fan of carbon fiber accents. I like the black open pore ash wood we had in the GLA a lot more, but you can spec that if you want to. And I appreciate Mercedes-Benz speccing these press cars differently so I can get an idea of all the different materials that they offer. That being said, really there's not much to say. Seats are still super comfortable. These bolsters are very big, maybe a little too big, I'll be honest, because when I'm doing some sporty driving, I kind of bump my elbows into these seats a little. So that might be a bit too big, but that might just be me. If you're a bit taller, you shouldn't have that big of a problem, but I'm not that tall, right? So I slide in that easier. MBUX, still an amazing system. I really like MBUX, even more now after I've had more time in it. It's a great system. Best infotainment system I've ever dealt with. And yeah, honestly, that's not one for us. Except for this time she's a little hard of hearing. Like, I don't know if the driver's side microphone is a little broken, but often when I talk, it either doesn't pick up on it or it thinks that the passenger is speaking, which is not the case because there's no passenger. So yeah, that was a little weird, but I don't know, just something I noticed. Let's take a look at the back seats though, and then we take a look at the third row, which we have in this GLB. Okay, now in the back row, plenty of headroom, even with the glass roof we're having here. Plenty of leg room, plenty of foot room. Doesn't get anything get squeezed down there. That's good. And yeah, same materials. Still feels nice, looks nice, super usable. Got our quirky cup holders right in here. Choop, wonderful. One interesting feature about this second row though is that it slides forward and backwards. Now a bunch of second rows do that in a bunch of cars, but this one slides pretty far. Like that's, I think it's 6 or 8 inches. Yeah, it's about 6 inches. And it slides so far. Why does it do that? Because we have the optional third row, right? So the optional third row, right now they don't have any space. So if you want to have somebody in the back, you might want to slide a little bit forward to give them a bit more space. Of course, if we go all the way forward, it gets a little tight in here, but it definitely works for now. It will work for a bit. And also if you don't use the third row and just use it as a trunk, you can have more trunk space, less trunk space, just kind of what you need, right? So that's pretty neat. Only thing really is this is a bit too upright for my liking. I would have liked a bit more reclining, and I don't think we can recline it at all. So it's a little bit too upright for my liking. It's not too bad, it'll be okay. Just I think on longer drives it could get a little bit exhausting for your back. But we want to get into the third row. Pretty simple. First of all, we should just slide it forward. That'll make it a lot easier. Get it down and go even further forward now that it's down, and we can go in here. Oh god, this is even for me not super easy. It's not made for adults. It's definitely not made. Oh god. But now we are in the third row. First of all, let's get these droid heads up. They literally look like droid heads. So we got that up, and let's take this back. So that's, oh, this is gonna get tight, isn't it? Let's see how far back it goes. Okay, it locks into the first, like in the most forward position. And also, sorry for not getting a camera back here, but there's literally no space for it. And honestly, wow, this is actually surprisingly good. The leg room, I literally have this much leg room. My feet don't get squeezed down here. Headroom is, if you're a little taller than me, 5'8", you might just about fit. 5'9", you're gonna have to tilt your head. You have cup holders in the middle. You have USB ports here. Honestly, this is surprisingly good. Like even the positioning, it's actually pretty comfortable. Like they're more reclined than the second row. I feel like this is more comfortable to sit in, except for the fact that my legs are kind of at an angle, right? So my knee is angled a lot because we're sitting almost on the floor, so that would get uncomfortable. But this is meant as an emergency third row. Don't use it all the time. If you use it weekly, go for a bigger vehicle. I'll just tell you that flat out. But if you only occasionally have to carry children, this third row, 1,300 Canadian, I'll give you the US dollar price for this third row. Honestly, it makes a lot of sense. It's surprising how much space they have, like how they did this in such a small vehicle, right? Just for the curiosity, let's take a look at, if we go behind the, oh god, if like the most backwards position, oh god. Yeah, this doesn't work. I can't get my second leg behind this seat. Yeah, this does not work. Okay, let's get back here. I definitely was not almost stuck there. No, not at all. Okay, no. Jokes aside, this is actually really usable. Occasionally, But let's take a look at the trunk with the third row down, then we go back to driving. Hello. The trunk of the GLB is noticeably bigger than the one in the GLA. I mean, look at how much room I have to move around. I was pretty cramped in the GLA, so this is pretty nice. And we still have the same kind of goodies. So we have grocery bag hangers, good job. Look at how much room I have. We have straps in the back. It's awesome. Oh, we also have a cigarette lighter back there, so that's pretty good. Of course, third row is down right now, so I'm lying on it. You can see right now how it will look with the third row up, with the second row down. And yeah, honestly, there's not much more to say. So much more practical than the GLA. That's the summary here. But yeah, that's all I have to say about the interior. Let's go back to driving. See you later. Bye. Okay, and back we are from the interior. Like I said, it's pretty much the same interior, just like in the GLA, which is a good thing because I really liked it. Just that we have the differentiator in here, which is the third row. But honestly, like most of the stuff is pretty much the same as in the GLA, so I kind of always going towards the end here. Just one more thing, I already spoke about it in the interior segment. It's just for some reason the MBUX in here kind of has a hard time hearing. So let's test it right away. Hey Mercedes. Hey Mercedes. Hey Mercedes.
How may I help you?
Turn on seat kinetics.
What can I do for you?
Turn on seat kinetics. Turn on seat kinetics. Turn on seat kinetics. I think it's stuck now, actually. I don't know if it's this head unit that there's some issue with it, or if the microphone is, but this is not normal. I don't think this is normal at all. I mean, I've only been in, like, this is the second Mercedes I've been in with the MBUX, but this, like, it's stuck. It legitimately is stuck. Otherwise, it would tell me something. So let's go back. Maybe we need to sound a little more familiar. Hey Mercedes.
How may I help you?
Turn on the seat kinetics.
Okay, I'm switching on seat kinetics.
So that worked. But now it's for the passenger side. It didn't recognize, like, something's wrong here in this one. I don't know what it is. Probably, if that happens, it's probably covered in the warranty anyway. But that's something I'm going to mention. Anyhow, there's really not much more to say here. Other than that, what I want to say, really neat feature that I discovered. I played around with the individual drive mode in this one, where you can, you know, do a little whatever you want. You know, have like steering in sport, have the transmission in the engine, like in regular, so it doesn't downshift all the time, and all that. You can just revert to it. So if you start the car, there's an option. If you start the car, then you just have to click it, and then you back into ESP off if you want, for example, and into individual. That's pretty neat. And yeah, honestly guys, really there isn't much to talk about here that we didn't talk about in the GLA already, so let's just send it off to the final thoughts. Okay, final thoughts on the 2021 Mercedes-Benz GLB 250 4Matic. Don't buy the GLA. Seriously. I know we had the GLA 2 weeks ago and I liked it, but just buy this. Just buy the GLB. This one, as spec, costs $54,795. That's $2,800 more than the GLA. This is all in Canadian, like, conversions down here. So $2,800 more than the GLA, but if you don't need the third row, you delete that option and you're down to $1,500 more. And I think the GLB looks pretty decent without the night package too. So if you also delete that, you're cheaper than the GLA as we've had it. While you still have more trunk room, you have more second row room. I think it looks better. The ride is better. It's quieter inside. The fuel economy is about the same. It's just as sporty if you care about that. So why would you go with the GLA? Seriously, just go with the GLB. It's way better. And I have an easier time recommending it for the price, because the GLA was, I don't know, it was a lot of money for what it was. The GLB, I have an easier time saying, yeah, that's a good buy. That's a good buy. So yeah, honestly, that's all I have to say. I like it, if you didn't notice, if you couldn't read that out of that one. Anyhow, that's all I have to say about the GLB. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss any more videos. And we've got videos pretty much coming on a weekly basis right now. So yeah, we've got cool stuff coming soon. So I hope I'll see you in the next one. And until then, thank you very much and goodbye. Okay, exterior impressions of the Nope. Oh God. This is very comfortable. I feel like I'm doing this wrong. I might be. Oh, it goes forward for the. I'm an idiot. There we go.